Nica lost her parents when she was 8 years old. She was sent to an orphanage, although it was supposed to be under the care, but it was under the rule of Ms. Margaret, who subjected the kids to everyday torture and made them believe that love is poisoning and tears is weakness. Nica had met Rigel and hated him growing up, believing Rigel was the wolf in her fairy tale because Rigel had always been cold to her. He was once mean to her, being the one that removed her necklace the day she arrived, under Ms. Margaret's instruction. Also being the only one Margaret favors among the kids, but less did she know that Rigel had been having her back, holding her hands in the dark and helped her through Ms. Margaret's torture. Eventually Nica was to be adopted and didn't like the idea that Rigel accepted to be adopted by the same parent, even though he had refused to be adopted by many other parents. Their affection for each other grows deeper. Nica realizes she hasn't been hating him but been trying to understand him all these years, while Rigel keeps pushing her away, believing that is the best way to love her, even though he loves her so much. Nica couldn't get away from Rigel's torch and affection. They couldn't get away from each other as their in-house romance begins. Nica realized that Rigel gave her a rose flower sneaked in her locker, and also Rigel couldn't stand boys talking ill or naughty about Nica, so he fought them and fell later. Nica tends to him on the absence of their new parent. Nica had met a fine young man in her new school, Lionel, who is totally obsessed with her. Lionel do not like the idea that Nica and Rigel lives together, and Rigel being overly protective of her, believing they're more than just siblings. Lionel was heartbroken when Nica turned down his advances. He threatened to expose them both. Only then Rigel thought he did Nica no good by staying with her when she had finally finds family and joy. He decides to revoke his adoption, leave and say his final goodbye to Nica at the school dance, just that he arrived at the right time when Lion about to rape her. Lionel wasn't happy with that. Chase after them with his car, made them jump in the river, and that accident caused Rigel to coma. Only then Nica realized after waking up in the hospital that Rigel had always been the one having her back since the very first day she came the orphanage, not even when her necklace of that day was returned back to her. She decides to fight against Ms. Margaret, who had declined Nica and her family, but only her to see Rigel on the sickbed.
Voleva tenere lontana da Rigel, ma io tornai ogni giorno per stargli vicina.
After she won the court case for herself, Rigel, and the children of the orphanage against Ms. Margaret's wickedness, she ran to bear the news of her victory to her Tearsmith Rigel, but the later happened. Rigel woke up from coma and the two lovebirds unites again.
E alla fine avevo capito che la favola più grande ce l'abbiamo nel cuore.